Last Epoch is amazing. I'm still having fun, and I hope you are too. And if you're not playing it, well, start. It's amazing. You're gonna love it.
Hey folks, this is Riker, and is Last Epoch too easy? That's the question a lot of people have been
Now,
asking in the ARPG community, as people have been loving Season 2 so far. We're going to dig into both the praise and concerns, and we have other ARPG news to cover as well, the full crossover event details for Diablo 4 and Berserk, plus the revamped Battle Pass. Is the revamped Battle Pass more or less consumer-friendly?
LOL. It's more predatory. I have already seen it.
Plus the news that PoE 1 players got this week. Also, the Oblivion remaster Shadow drop this week, as we suspected, and Claire Obscure Expedition 33 released and is blowing people away. If you'd like to stay in the
True, Clair Obscur is very, very good. Even though the shill reviews are really bad at explaining how good it is.
loop on everything happening in the ARPG world and beyond, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Now let's jump right into the Last Epoch news. As we went into the first weekend of Season 2's launch, we saw a slight bump in peak concurrent player counts. We hit a bit over 150,000. I did expect things to go a little higher than that, but nonetheless.
Yeah, that's a decent number, but I also thought that it's probably going to be higher. But I mean, that's still a massive success.
Good numbers. Since then, we've settled back down to around 90,000, which is a pretty normal trend for ARPGs after a season launch. It's comparable to the drop
Yeah, that's normal.
we see in Path of Exile after 1 week. And we'll come back to this.
Yeah, you should roughly lose around 90-ish% of players after your new season. Something like 3 to 4 weeks in. That is actually typical and normal.
In a bit. Now, as we said, there's been a lot of chatter about
Oh, and if you're thinking, but that did not happen to not last Epoch, but Path of Exile 2. That didn't happen to Path of Exile 2 when it released. But now it's actually happening. Now it already has happened. Again, this is completely normal. This is not how we judge. Are these types of seasonal games dead or alive? Okay? We do judge, are these seasonal games dead or alive, from how many people return to the game and how fast the drop off is. For example, if a drop off happens in like a week, the season's probably pretty bad and something needs to be fixed. AKA Lake of Calandra for Path of Exile. One was a great example. And you all are crazy. Lake of Calandra is like my third favorite league. Well, what's wrong with you? Anyway, well, I'm insane, so maybe my opinion here is not the greatest. My favorite league is Talisman League. Not joking. I'm not joking. It still is. Anyway, if you're Diablo 4, though, your season pretty much lasts an average of 3 hours, then everyone stops playing your shitty game. That's how it goes for Diablo 4, though. It is what it is. I didn't make the rules, but yeah. An amazing Diablo 4 League 1 has not existed. 2, it probably still would die roughly in maybe 2 days if you're lucky.
Difficulty lately. Some players are complaining that the game is too easy, that getting to level 100 shouldn't happen in a day for, the crazy
Bro, who the hell is getting level 100 in a day?
blasters at least. But not everyone agrees. In fact, a lot of players love that Last Epoch doesn't feel like.
Admittedly, this is something I do agree with, okay? Level 100 max should be something that you get like level. It should honestly, I think Diablo 2 has set the greatest precedent for leveling in any game ever. You can get to roughly level 90, not 92, but 82, 85 without any problems. Then you can get if you keep playing often and a lot, you can get like level 92, and that feels good. Because what you want to see when you're playing this game is a differentiation in your character levels. Okay? If you're just testing a character, yeah, okay, you get like level 80, 85 or something. If you're actually playing that character a lot more, you get like level 90, 95-ish. And then if you're really blasting, you're like level 97. But the trick here is that all of these characters should be equally viable. Now, obviously, 20 levels more should be more power, but the game should be made around the idea that even if you're level 80, your build should still work anyway. Everything else is just, faster, more powerful, and whatnot. And that is the golden standard that I feel Diablo 2 has made, and that every game should honestly go by. Having a reachable max level is good, but again, it should not be free. It should not be. And proof of this is 100% Diablo 3 and Diablo 4. Because they made it. They made it that everyone just gets max level. And the moment everyone gets max level, everyone's fucking pissed. Everyone's sad. Everyone's having a bad time. And they introduced Patagon levels. By the way, something I said that's gonna happen in Diablo 4, and it did. Patagon levels are coming. I said that. And it did. Because I predict everything for Diablo 4 correctly. I'd rather cube next. It is what it is. But yeah, people want that ability to level up. Okay? And Patagon levels are stupid. Because when you introduce maximum Patagon levels, it's like, this is shitty system. I don't really care about any of my levels. None of them feel special, okay? It feels better to grind really hard than just get shit for free, in my opinion. And considering Diablo 4 is a washed up shithole of a mess, I think that's evident by everyone.
A second job. I think it's good that we have different ARPGs that cater to different audiences. PoE is the ARPG for real grinders. Last Epoch doesn't have to become PoE. And PoE 2 doesn't have to become Last Epoch either. Is Last Epoch a game that the grinders will be done with rather quickly? Yeah, possibly. But I see a lot of people reporting in saying they have busy lives and they want to be able.
Oh, okay. Also, a point about the hardness of a game. I defended Diablo 4, by the way, on this. I defended Path of Exile 1 on this. I defended Path of Exile 2 on this. And I will defend Last Epoch on this. There is no right answer for how complicated the game should be. In Diablo 4, for example, people were constantly complaining about the fact that the enemies scale with your level, so you never get that power fantasy of killing shit instantaneously. Now in now in the Last Epoch, you can kill enemies instantaneously, and people are saying it's too easy because of that. Yeah, you see, there's no winning. Also, Path of Exile 2 has its own quirks, Path of Exile 1 has its own quirks, and in general, all of these games get ridiculously easy if you're actually good at them. A pro tip for Last Epoch, by the way, how you should play this game: if ever you are going through a zone and it's hard, maybe that's because you're on the beach right after killing the boss on the ship. Maybe that's why you're dying. But if you go to the next zone and, if you have went to 3 zones and you are dying, a pro tip for campaigning: just spend 2 or 3 levels and put points in literally anything that says armor. Literally any node that says armor, and you're going to be absolutely fine. And it's going to get good. And, well, if you don't have enough damage, it is what it is.
Able to fully enjoy an ARPG without needing to devote 20 plus hours a week to gaming. And I'm going to avoid using the term casual here, because I think that Last Epoch offers a degree of depth and complexity that non-casual players can really enjoy.
Yep.
I would not say that Last Epoch is catered to more casual players, but rather to players who don't have either the ability or desire to spend 5 hours a day playing the game. Even then, though, things really...
But I find this bullshit. This opinion exists because of not Last Epoch. Again, I want to say Last Epoch every time I'm thinking of Path of Exile too. This opinion sheerly only exists because of Path of Exile 2 at this. Path of Exile 1 is a ridiculously fucking brain damaged and easy game if you want to follow a build that just a build. You don't need to know anything. The build was going to get you through every Uber, everything if you want to be like that. That's your own choice for it, okay? But mainly it exists because of Path of Exile 2. But loot currently being pre-read and upgrades being pre-read doesn't make the game hard. The game is gonna be hard until you get that item that allows you to blast through things. And the moment you get it, the game becomes ridiculously more easy. I would say that this is not real hardness to a degree, okay? Again, everything's kind of muddled, really. A lot of people are probably disagreeing with me on this opinion, but hey, it is what it is. My opinion's valid, your opinion's valid. It's like, this is why you have, kind of three levels of games. The hardest, the not so hardest, and Diablo for the shitter.
You do ramp up once you're into the meat of the end game, but you can feel content and fulfilled before you reach that point. Thanks to Last Epoch's pace and various systems like the Circle of Fortune for target farming gear, it actually feels realistic and achievable for an average gamer to build up multiple characters. So, is Last Epoch too easy? Well, whether it is or it isn't, a roughly 30% drop off in players after a week is, again, comparable to Path of Exile, which is not too easy. So, it doesn't really matter if it's too easy, if it has the same retention as a game that is not too easy, right? Now, maybe you can argue that retention would be even better if it wasn't too easy. Maybe all the blasters are the 30% who are done with the game and have fallen off. But we can counter argue, maybe if we made it harder, then we would.
The blasters will never be 30% of people who drop off. It was like a 5%. Dude, listen, the blasters barely exist at this point. The blasters are pretty much just people who are, YouTubers and Twitch people. That's it. Because they're going to play the game the most. Listen, someone playing a game for 8 hours is roughly the amount of time a normal person now spends in a week playing a game. That's just facts at this point, okay?
Would keep the blasters but lose the people who don't have the time to devote to the game. Oh, and the last Epoch.
So obviously, when one person gets in a whole week of your fucking game time in a single day, they're gonna quit the game a lot faster.
Epoch devs actually released this infographic, which says that 49%.
Bro, how do you play Sentinel? Jesus. I don't understand how Sentinel is the most popular one. Wow, and Paladin. Okay, there's your reason why people are saying the game is too easy. Because Sentinel, then it's Paladin, and then it's fucking Void Knight. Are you kidding me? Yeah, of course, if you're playing a Paladin, the game's gonna be easy because you're not gonna die to shit.
Of all characters created in Season 2 are Sentinels. Sentinel is the most OP class right now, so again, how many people are saying the game is too easy? And I'll clarify, ultimately, I would not be opposed to making the game more challenging. I just want to ensure...
By the way, I'm talking from purely a perspective of Necro.
We don't have a knee-jerk reaction.
Well, not Necro, Acolyte. Actually, currently Waterlog, but that's fine.
And end up breaking something that is working fine for a lot of people. Another thing that may make the campaign feel so easy to many people is the Nemesis system, through which you can pretty easily get exalted modifiers on gear much earlier than we used to. So imagine getting, an exalted weapon at level 10. Yeah, you're gonna crush everything for quite a while with that item. So all this to say, there's a couple different things going on that may be contributing to people's perception or even experience that the early game especially
there's no way a casual person gets
is too easy. But not everyone may be equally benefiting from these factors. Now, there's also an argument to be made that the campaign can be so easy that it does not adequately prepare you for empowered monoliths. Oh,
really? Oh no, I would fully not agree with that. When you start off with monoliths, they're as easy as the campaign. And then when you start jumping in the corruption, you start to understand, oh, ooh, oh my.
And speaking of, I wonder how many people who say the game is too easy have yet to reach empowered monoliths. Even the Lagon fight is the first huge difficulty spike currently in the game. The next would be at Majasa. And then it's basically smooth sailing until you hit empowered monos. Now, Judd, the boss of the HG, chimed in on Reddit saying, quote, "We're not looking to make the early campaign overly difficult, as it should be easy enough for new players to the genre not to be immediately alienated. But it should also present challenges. Right now, we feel it may be too spiky when real challenges are presented."
Yeah, that is true. Again, I kind of agree that okay, if you're playing this has been always my critique of the game. Okay, listen, if you're playing a necromancer and you start off, your beginner experience of the game is just fucking pain. Okay, level 1 blood rip, until you get to uh, the bone spear thing. What's it called? I forgot. Whatever. And it looks horrible to use. I mean, no wonder no one wants to use a fucking acolyte, okay? Because it looks shit. Also, it doesn't sound like necromancer, and that's kind of a big deal. Also, people don't understand what an acolyte is. It sounds like a weak version of a mage, right? It is what it is, okay? Call the class Kel'Thuzad and suddenly, bam, 30% of people are playing Kel'Thuzad class. It could be that easy. But yeah, initially it is kind of easy and you can blast through everything really hard. And then there are situations, again, it's not the first instance when you are gonna dive and you kill the boss on the ship and you go to the beach with the fucking worms and shit. But it's one of those places where you can easily, right? And those are some strange over difficulty spikes to say, because suddenly enemies just deal more damage and you can't just go face tank every right with every.
Like with Lagon. So maybe we're going to see a bit of a smoothing out of the difficulty, which is reasonable. But we also have to remember that something easy for an ARPG veteran, as many of us are, may be challenging for an ARPG noob. And at Gamescom, I saw plenty of players try out Last Epoch and enjoy it and report that that was the first time they ever played an ARPG. Also, if you want a more challenging campaign experience, the game actually has a built-in hidden hard mode. Early in the campaign, you reach the old road. There's a bear you kill in a cave. Now, before you exit that cave, there's stalagmites to the right. You destroy those to reveal a path forward. You're going to go through a couple more bears, a couple more breakable walls, and then you're going to find a pair of boots that make you deal less damage and take more damage. And they also have a move speed modifier that scales with your level, so you can keep these boots on throughout the campaign, and your move speed is just going to naturally increase as you level up. Because
I had
of
no
course,
idea.
EHG has a solution to things. But moving on from the difficulty discussion, the updates to the endgame have been great. The Weaver Tree, absolute hit. Champions, fun. Tombs and cemeteries, okay, maybe getting a little samey. Could probably use some more
Makes sense,
layouts,
yeah.
tile sets, monster variety. But overall, the vibe is that this season is ridiculously fun. Quality of life has also been a major win. Auto-sorting stash tabs, intuitive gear filters, being able to find everything you need, every resource to explain game systems, all of that in-game without needing to rely on third-party resources is just great. Oh, and speaking of the loot filter, all we're really missing now is the ability to customize the sounds and minimap icons would be
You know what we're truly missing? An easy way to just import the most popular loot filters.
nice for that to also be worked in. You know, to reach feature parity with the PoE loot filters. Oh, also customizing.
I mean, making your own loot filter is literally like a minute if you have already made one previously, but still.
The mouse cursor would be a nice quality of life too. So altogether, between the satisfying item chase, the more casual pacing, the powerful offline mode, and the crazy improvements this season, a lot of players are calling Last Epoch their new ARPG home. I think Last Epoch.
Listen, that's not gonna last even when Diablo's new season hits. Everyone's gonna go play it for roughly 2 hours, and then no one's gonna want to go back to Last Epoch. That's just the way things are, okay? Maybe some will. Maybe some will go back to the Last Epoch. But no one's gonna stay on Diablo. That's for at least. It is what it is. It's pretty beautiful. Very simple.
Currently has the best quality of life and arguably the best systems of any ARPG. Oh, and they definitely win bonus points by not filling their game with
By the way, true. Again, Last Epoch finds solutions for problems you didn't even know exist.
monsters with on-death effects. I don't get why so many devs love to have these mechanics where once you defeat the monsters and the threat should therefore be neutralized, there's an extra screw you
Oh, I forgot about that. It doesn't exist. Yeah. Holy. I forgot about that.
mechanic to trip you up when you're
I feel so good now actively understand that. Oh, my last Epoch experience just went up.
just running for your loot. Thank you,
Retroactively,
EHG, for
boys.
not doing this. So many of EHG's ideas should just become standard for the ARPG genre. The circle of
Yeah, again, by the way, I have literally no problem with the concept of, Path of Exile 2 steals everything good from Last Epoch and Diablo 4 and puts it in its game and makes it better. I don't even care if Diablo 4 just steals everything from every other game and makes it better. They will never do that again. Like, we mentioned 3 games, but we all know Diablo 4 is it's just dead. It's just over. I just kind of like to spit on its corpse time to time because it's funny, but it's over. Everyone knows. Okay? But I have no problem with these games literally stealing all of their mechanics. If Last Epoch somehow stole all of oh, the minion system. No, not the minion system, but the spirit system from Path of Exile 2. I would be pretty happy with that. If they somehow stole, I can't even figure out what they should steal with. I'm okay with them stealing from each other. Okay, I'm here to play the best game, and it's not my moral responsibility to keep tracks on how the best game gets made. Okay, it is what it is. We are deep seek in this respect, right? Anyway, that was Riker. 10 out of 10. Diablo 4, no one gives a shit. Path of Exile, no one cares. Oblivion, good stuff. Clair Obscure Expedition 33, a very good game. You should play it. Anyway, that was Riker. 10 out of 10. Bye.